On this episode of On the Mic with Mike and Moose.
Like you said, no matter what you've done, no matter where you've been, there there's a way out.
Yep.
Um, you may feel overwhelmed. You may feel uh what's you may have suffered from trauma. There's a whole lot of things that you could have done that set you down the wrong path. You may just be around the wrong people.
Yep.
And
That's it.
there's a way out. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Moose coming to you from just outside of Birmingham, Alabama.
What's up, What's up, everybody? I tried too hard, y'all. What's up, everybody? It's Mike coming all the way from Oklahoma, the tornado capital of the world. Keep that in there.
That's like two episodes in a row where you've screwed up the opening.
I know I'm like, ah!
Hopefully this time I'll have a little more time to edit so I can edit out some of the. I don't know if you listened to the last episode that I posted, but there are a few times where our cues were left in there, and then Magda, she left in the middle, and we just started talking about IKEA furniture, and I just thought it was a
Oh,
funny
yeah.
episode because we don't have too many of those.
No, we need those. It just shows life, you know.
Yeah.
What I was trying to do, Moose was saying, and Mikey Mike, and it didn't come out right.
Yeah.
Nah, I tried.
So, you and I, we've known each other close to a year now, and probably know each other pretty closely, probably eight or 9 months. We both know that we're both nerds, and we're
Yes.
really into pop culture.
Yes.
And today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about kind of like how villains, just kind of the story arc of villains and how they become redeemed. And I think this is important um, from this is a pop culture thing, but I think that when you kind of look at this, there's also ways that you can tie in the biblical parts.
Yeah.
You can tie in the Bible with this. And so if you had one villain that you felt has a great character arc where they kind of redeem themselves, who would you say that is?
Well, I'm not going to say my first choice because I'm going to leave that one for you. But my second choice, if I had to name someone, it would be Snape. If anybody's ever watched any of the Harry Potters, and please listen, if you watched those videos from the late 90s, early 2000s, you're not going to Hades for watching Harry Potter. Just saying, just telling you. But anyway, pull that back in. Snape seemed like the villain through every single book and every single movie until you see at the end the arc where it's changed to where Snape was actually watching out for Harry. And we thought he was this bad guy all along. Now, I know in the books it's a little bit different, but I'm going by the canonical movies that most people watched, you know. But Snape at the beginning just was like Potter, you know, and just the way he treated Harry the whole time. Yes, Potter, you know. And then at the end, you see, you know, his love for Lily, which was his mother, was huge, and he was protecting Harry along the way, even though it didn't look like he was. Now, I do believe there are some times where he wasn't 100%, if you catch what I'm saying, you know. But I think the same thing with the person you're going to bring up. The person you're going to bring up, I believe that there were some times he was protecting his family, even though it didn't look like it, you know. So, but with that being said, I believe Dumbledore knew the whole time what was happening. I think what was happening is that the one that cannot be named, right, could not know the intention. So it had to be buried deep, 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 deep down. And so at the end, when we saw it, number one, it was a plot twist. We were like, yay, you know, and then, but we also knew that he was so close to the Dark Lord. And so he would have to watch that and disguise that. So I think that was a
He
great
actually
arc.
he actually worked for Dumbledore, right?
Yeah, he worked for Dumbledore and he did work for the one who cannot be named. So, but yes, right. At least we have a nose. Yes. But anyway, with that being said, but at the end, it was a beautiful thing. And a lot of people think that Dumbledore, when he was pushed, was doing it to hurt him, but it was an all part of the plan. Dumbledore could not stay around. It's kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi type situation, to where he could help Harry more. And so,
But just kind of wrapping that up as far as the redemption arc. I mean, what are the Ginny and Harry named their first son?
exactly. Yeah.
What was it?
Severus Snape. Well, what
It
was
was Albus
Albus? Yeah, yeah, Albus
Albus Severus Potter.
Potter. Yep, sure enough.
His middle name actually was Snape's first name,
Yep,
and so
which, which
yeah,
was really cool.
that's just interesting and kind of I know that there's other redemption arcs throughout the course of pop culture, whether that's the movies or television. I just think about some of the different characters over the years that I mean I was I'm trying to think of his name. The My wife, I walked in and she was watching Thor Ragnarok the other day.
Oh, Loki.
And Carl Urban's character, and I can't think of which character he played. But he's the guy that is always trying to press the ladies with the Earth artifacts, and he's got the double machine guns, and
Oh, yeah.
the ARs, and he's shooting them or whatever, whichever type of guns they are. And he actually, he sides with Hela at first, and then at the very end, he sacrifices himself.
Yep.
But for me, and this is probably number one for most people when it comes to villains and their redemption arc. And this is actually my favorite, probably my favorite character of all time out of any movie is Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
Now, I'm like a lot of people, not a fan of Hayden Christensen. Um, I'm not, I didn't lie. I don't think his acting style is good. Um, but I think the way that they took Jake Lloyd and made him an innocent kid, and then just show how the outside can influence somebody who's young and impressionable,
Yeah.
where they live a life of evil essentially as the villain, and then at the very end changes his heart to save essentially the galaxy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that is huge. I've been a Star Wars fan for a long time. I, when I was a kid, I was scared of Darth Vader.
Oh, wow.
Of course, my favorite character when the first time I saw Star Wars was probably Return of the Jedi, and a lot of that stuff that came on, a lot of the spinoffs that happened in the mid '80s or so.
Yeah.
So, what do most kids that are 4, 5, 6 years old? Who do they love back then? Can you guess?
Back then,
Mid
probably
'80s spinoffs, little
I
kids,
would the spinoffs.
Return of the Jedi,
Oh, are you talking about the novels?
Ewoks.
Oh, the Ewoks. Yeah. Oh, the cartoon. The
Well,
cartoon
not
came
it's not
out.
just the cartoon, just even like the two spinoffs of the family that
Oh, yeah.
crashed on Endor.
Oh, yeah.
So that was what my when I was a little kid, it was Ewoks. The big teddy bears. It wasn't until I was probably in high school. When I was in high school, I think I was a senior, or I might have been a junior. I think I was a junior when the Phantom Menace came out. So that really reignited my love for Star Wars. Now I watched as a kid, um, but it wasn't until then that I really got into it. And it's funny because my ninth grade honors English teacher, she somehow was able to connect Homer's The Odyssey with A New Hope. And so in ninth grade, I watched New Hope again for the first time in probably 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Then Phantom Menace came out, so they re-released all the, 4, 5, and 6, and that's where I really started seeing and falling in love with Darth Vader and just the character and the character arc.
Oh yeah.
And of course, when I was little, I didn't understand it, but as I've gotten older, it makes so much sense to me about how, and you can see where that happens, and I think that from a biblical standpoint, somebody like Anakin Skywalker or Severus Snape or whoever you want to kind of insert in that role as becoming uh, redeemed is, I mean, that's to me is just an example of what we can do and what those who maybe feel that they are too far gone
Hmm.
can do through the love of Christ.
Oh yeah. I
And
would I would say, um, we see it repeated again with his grandson Kylo. Kylo, basically the same type of way, but I didn't think Kylo was going to turn. I thought Kylo was too far gone, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Just the way, because of everything he did, the way he was trying to take out Luke. By the way, Luke has never been a favorite of mine. Never been a Luke Skywalker fan. Never have been. I was always in the original ones, I was more of a Han Solo. And I loved Darth Vader back then. But Han Solo, because there was another movie that was out during the 80s that I really, really loved. And do you know the name
Indiana
of that?
Jones, Indiana
Indiana.
Jones.
Yeah. And so that's the reason I always thought that Luke was too much of a crybaby in a lot of ways. And a lot of people now the novels, that's different. Me and you have read. Me and you have went on a deep dive of Star Wars. The Mark Hamill, the one who portrayed him, I just it sometimes now Return of the Jedi Luke, that's different. Okay. But the other parts you're just like, he's a little bit of a crybaby. Return of the Jedi is good. But I'm going down a rabbit hole with that. But with that, yeah, Anakin is great. I would say this about Hayden. Back then in the early 2000s, yeah, his acting, but in Ahsoka, his acting was so much better. Well, he's in his 40s now too. And Obi-Wan, it was so much better. Did you see the Obi-Wan series?
I did.
That fight
You're talking about
was,
where his face is exposed?
yes, was one of the best. To speak of the character arc,
Mhm.
where we see the light when he's Anakin speaking, and then the red when Vader comes back. When he says, "You're not the one who killed me, Obi-Wan." He explained that it was him. He decided to do that. It was so deep because Anakin could have blamed everybody else, but Anakin said, "No, I'm the one that did this. I'm the one who." Vader said that. So, uh,
Right.
but that was such a beautiful moment. Um, between Obi-Wan and Anakin. And if you were there at that moment, you could kind of see that there could be a change. You saw hope, which was beautiful.
So, from a biblical standpoint,
Yes.
you said something just a minute ago that really I think a lot of people feel. You said that when you were referring to Kylo Ren as somebody who you thought was too far gone,
Hmm.
um, because of all the stuff he had done.
Oh yeah.
You look at Darth Vader. I mean, he was, even though he wasn't the emperor or anything like that, he was kind of in charge. He was one of the top dogs when Alderaan was destroyed.
Yes.
He killed. I mean, he would kill people at will.
Hmm.
using the force and things like that. And it just reminds me of, when you said that about Kylo Ren, how many people, and we see this in the Bible, how many people said that about Paul?
No,
He's too
exactly.
far gone.
Yeah,
He's a murderer. He's persecuting followers of Christ just because they're followers of Christ.
yeah.
He's merciless. So much. But I know I've mentioned this on here before. For me, definitely in the New Testament, I feel that Paul is the second most important person in the New Testament, and I think there's an argument that in the whole Bible you could say he's the second most important person, at least top five at a minimum.
I would even put top three, brother.
Yeah. You could probably throw Moses in there, maybe at two. Um, at least that's my opinion.
I,
Um,
yeah. The reason why I said what I did about Kylo, Vader did not kill a parent. Um, when when Kylo killed Han, or Han, as some people say, but Han, that was a definitive moment of going to the dark side. Now, Anakin never did that.
well, he never had the chance to do that because he didn't have a father, and his mom
Yep.
was killed
Yep.
before he turned.
But remember, with his mother, he killed every one of them. If y'all know the scene, you know what I'm talking about. Even the women and the children. And but he did that for his mom. But when he did that with Han, and he even was trying to take out his mother, when that one battle, that's what solidified it. Even his uncle, his uncle whom he loved, and we know the backstory with that too. And that's why I was like, okay, at that moment. But yeah, that's right. Nobody's ever too far gone. But it took someone like Ray. Took someone like Ray, no matter how you feel about the sequels. Ray was a good character as far as balancing off Kylo, and she was able to get to him because they were a dyad in the Force, and they were connected before time, and so she was able to influence him and speak to him, and kind of get in that place. So
So what we're saying is that Ray was kind of the person planting the seed for Kylo,
yes,
like Albus Dumbledore was planting the seed for Severus Snape.
the, yep,
It's always that one person, and so kind of taking this back to a biblical sense, we're not there to save the particular people. We're there to plant the seed,
that's it.
and that's all they were doing. If you see with Dumbledore, I think he was good at kind of planting that seed for Snape. But ultimately, Snape had to make that decision on whether he was going to continue to go with the Death Eaters, or he was going to be, there for the good of Hogwarts. Just like there's the scene in episode 6 where Luke, as much as a whiny baby you say he is, he puts his lightsaber down and says, I'm not going to kill
Yeah,
my
yeah,
father.
yeah.
And he says he's a Jedi, essentially
Right,
just like his father was. And at that point, Anakin Vader has the opportunity to choose one way or the other. And
Mhm.
after he sees his son suffering, of course, he picks up the Emperor and throws him down the hole.
Yes,
And so, um,
but somehow Palpatine returned.
yeah,
We
right.
had to put that in there.
Yeah, right. Well, but yeah, so I think it's cool to be able to, when you look at pop culture,
Oh yeah.
and even though George Lucas may not have been uh, purposefully putting this together in a biblical sense. Now he may have, but I was feeling he didn't on purpose. I consciously do this.
Hmm.
Subconsciously, I feel like the story arc, the villain, the redemption, falls right in line with what we can use for the Bible. And I know that there's some churches that do like an at the movies type
Oh yeah.
sermon series. I've never attended one of those, so I don't know what kind of movies they use. But I mean, man, that's an ultimate redemption story. Just 4, 5, and 6.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to go back, maybe 3, 4, 5, and 6, because you see the turn in 3, and then you kind of see the villain all the way up into the last few minutes of 6.
Yeah.
Now I think about the scene on what's the name of the place?
Mustafa.
Mustafa. You see the scene where Anakin is on fire and his all around his eyes are red, his bloodshot, and he's yelling, "I hate you."
I hate you.
Hate
Yeah,
you,
he does that part.
you
Yeah.
know, and
You were my brother, Anakin. Yeah. Sorry, I know the whole dialogue.
but you know the when you look at like Obi-Wan throughout the course of that film, and then the course really of course, he goes away in episode 4 when he transfigures.
Hmm.
Um, but even there, they show, like you said, they had to show Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you kind of see that even though you feel like he gave up on him, he really didn't.
He did. No.
And then, of course, you get the scene, whether it's the original one with the original actor in the suit, or sorry, with the original actor who, when they pull off the helmet, is the ghost, or Hayden Christensen. You see the ending at the end of episode 6 where they're all, together, Anakin and Obi-Wan and Yoda. So,
No.
and I really wish Qui-Gon could have been in that, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But I do
I
think
would,
Qui-Gon's coming back. I think he's coming back in season 2 of Obi-Wan if they do it. So
he is.
I'm
From what I've
excited
heard,
about that because Liam Neeson's one of my favorite actors.
I would say this: a person that we could parallel and look at where they were really good and they turned to evil was Count Dooku. Count Dooku was one of the wisest, most honorable Jedi's that there were. And some events happened, Cypher and all those things, because Cypher was his like really good friend, and things were happening, and Count Dooku um, switched up and became someone completely different, and he chose, and I believe it shows free will really great that Count Dooku chose to go the dark side, but he was using it, quote unquote, for the better. And some people, when they go to their villain arc, sometimes they're using it for the betterment of people. And that from a biblical stance, we cannot do that. From a biblical stance, when we choose to walk away from our faith or decide to continue in sin or things like that, we are not helping anyone. We're not helping ourselves. We're not helping those around us. And so before we choose to, as we would say, burn it all down, we have to pray. Is this going to help people around me? Am I in my emotions right now? Before I give into this, can I take a step back? Can I take that thought captive? Because Moose, you probably have instances where you could have went into a villain arc. Maybe there was a moment in your life where you did for a moment. Moment in my life that I know I did because I was willing to go out, fingers rolling, burning it down, burning bridges to where I would not be able to go across them anymore. But I had to realize God was getting a hold of me, the Holy Spirit. We have to listen to the Holy Spirit to where we don't. But guess what? If we do it, if you're watching this and you did go down that villain arc and you feel like you're far from God, you're on the right podcast right now. Because no matter what you've done, no matter where you've been, no matter who you've become, I know I'm saying it early, but it's for a reason. You can come home. The Father's running to you, and He's willing to make you whole again.
Well, so with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this. I enjoy pop culture. I know Mike enjoys pop culture. We're kind of throwing stuff, here and there if you've watched, or this is episode what, 29.
Hmm.
We got 8 other episodes, and we go into pop culture from time to time. And my thing to just kind of wrap this up is, like you said, no matter what you've done, no matter where you've been, there there's a way out.
Yep.
Um, you may feel overwhelmed. You may feel uh, what's you may have suffered from trauma. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that you could have done that set you down the wrong path. You may just be around the wrong people.
Yep.
And
That's it.
there's a way out.
There is. Yep.
And I'm drinking some Dr. Pepper Zero for you.
Fun fact for you. They don't have Dr. Pepper in France. And so what we're going to do, I sent Magda some Dr. Pepper, and when she gets it, we're going to all get on a video and drink it together, and we'll see how she does with it.
Funny. That's funny.
That'll be funny.
Anyway, so getting off that tangent.
Yeah, we're like Dr. Pepper.
So just want to say that that it's no matter what you've done, you can always come back. There's
That's it.
always a place at the table. The lyrics, everyone's invited to sit at the table, right? That's
Yes.
the truth. And even if you feel like you're too far gone, you're not.
It's a lie. Yep.
You be that Anakin Skywalker who's turning away from Darth Vader. Be
Yep.
that Severus Snape who's turning away from being a Death Eater. Be Paul who's turning away from being Saul.
That's it.
So,
Amen.
anyways, so I hope that you all got something out of this. This is a fun one for us because we get to nerd out a little bit. Not every one of our podcasts are like this, but as I always say at the end of my videos and the end of this podcast, I just want to let you know I'm praying for you.
And
God
I've
bless.
already said my line.
Yes, you did. God bless you.
God bless you.